The lift has been upgraded to the honeymoon suite.
Nice.
The Ford Cougar says no.
At least take the hat.
Welcome to this week's e-learning blogger masterclass, where I'm joined by Kelly Exeter from A Life Less Frantic, a blogger who also runs a successful design business and is willing to share her thoughts on the importance of blog design and why it's vital for success.
Hi there, and welcome to the Kidspot Voices of 2014 blogging e-course. My name is Kelly Exeter, and today I will be talking about blog design. Great blog design goes well beyond your site looking sleek or pretty. A great blog design is both functional and beautiful. What do I mean by functional? Well, your design must provoke an action or a reaction. It must serve a purpose. It must do something for both you and the reader. Before you even look at the actual design and layout elements of your blog, you need to understand that your blog design must do 5 things for you. 1. Support and enhance your brand. 2. Make your reader feel at home. 3. Offer a logical pathway around your site. 4. Get your readers to take some kind of action. 5. Facilitate the achievement of your blogging goals. Let's get to the fun bit, the actual design elements. There are 5 main areas of your site that you need to look at to ensure your blog is doing the very best job for you that it can. The first is your site logo and or header. This is pretty much the first thing readers see when they visit your site, and is one of the biggest elements when it comes to branding and making readers feel at home. Like, yes, this person totally gets me. If you're going to get professional help with any aspect of your blog, this is a good place to splash some cash. Now, I'm not going to give examples of people who've gotten it wrong because I value my life and I don't like hurting people's feelings. Instead, I'm going to give examples of people who are getting it right. So number 1, forgive me for starting with myself, but my personal brand is one I know pretty well. My blog is called A Life Less Frantic, and my blogging brand is essentially about being calm and simplifying life. My approach is very gentle, as in, take away what is of use to you, discard the stuff that's of no use to you. So my header contains an image of a girl, lost in thought, sitting on a soft cloud background. There are butterflies floating around, and I'm using soft greens accentuated with a teal blue to maintain that calm feeling. The words "A Life Less Frantic" are hand-lettered to be unique yet non-threatening. My tagline is "Embracing the busy by living intentionally," which works with the head design to subtly suggest that it's possible to be busy and yet still have a calm life. Number 2, Chantel from Fat Mum Slim has just her logo in her header, sitting on a white background. It's simple and beautiful and contains her tagline, "Living Life Inspired." Chantel's brand is warm, creative and inspiring, and her simple, stylish header lays a beautiful foundation for this. Sarah Wilson's header hasn't changed in at least 5 years, and while I suspect this is more from a time available point of view, the thing is, changing it doesn't need to be a priority for Sarah because it still supports her personal brand beautifully. Sarah's brand is friendly, nurturing and gentle. The photo of her in a relaxed pose with a big smile on her face sets this tone right away. Her tagline, "This blog makes life better, sweeter," tells you straight away what the underlying message of her blog is. So when you're looking at your site header, you need to ensure all the elements, images, logo, colours really set the right tone. It's the first thing people see when they land on your site, and it's the foundation from which all the other design considerations spring. The next thing you have to think about when it comes to your site design is navigation. This is the number 1 thing that allows readers to find their way around your site. Please, please do not get cute with your navigation. Put it where people expect to find it, which is above and or below your header, and call the pages something people expect. Don't call your About page Find Out More. Your About page is the second most visited page on your site after the home page. People specifically go looking for About. Don't make them search and guess, just call it About. The other page they go looking for is Contact. Do you want people to contact you? Then make sure your contact link is in the main navigation on the end, because that's where people expect to find it. If your site is simple like mine, then you get to keep your navigation very simple. You will see I only have 4 links. People can access my blog post from the homepage and also via the category and archive drop-downs in the sidebar. If you're a fashion blogger like Fox and Flats and your readers might only be interested in certain categories, the 2 navigation bar tactic works really well. You will see from here that you can access Andrew's main information pages via her top nav bar, and all her blog categories with subcategory drop-downs are accessible via her main nav bar. The third element when it comes to design is your sidebar. I could show you many examples of sidebars bursting at the seams with link-up logos, blog buttons, blogging competition logos, and all manner of ridiculousness. But I'm not going to, because I know you've seen them all. If you're struggling to pare down your sidebar, then let me tell you this. The vast majority of people see only the top element in the sidebar, and possibly the bottom element as well. Everything else their eyes glaze over unless they are searching for something specific, like say access to your blog categories or archives. This is why most people place their newsletter subscribe at the top of their sidebar, because building their newsletter list is the most important thing their website can do for them. Other good things to have in your sidebar, depending on the action you want people to take when they visit your site, is an image of yourself with a short paragraph. This is useful for branding and to make readers feel at home. Links to your social media sites, mainly because people expect those to be there in the sidebar, but no, many hardcore bloggers don't have social media icons in their sidebar because they don't want to send people away from their site. A search this site box is something that seasoned blog readers expect to find in your sidebar and will go to the trouble of looking for it. So that means it doesn't need to be anywhere near the top because people will go looking for it. Category and archive drop-down boxes are also something that need to be in the sidebar but can be further down the page. They don't need to be at the top because people who know to look for those things will go looking for them. A Facebook like box is also a nice thing to have in your sidebar because it allows people to like your Facebook page without having to leave your website. What you put at the top of your sidebar is going to vary greatly depending on where the other key elements sit on the rest of your site. So for example, I have my newsletter subscribe in my header, so this allows me to put my headshot at the top of the sidebar. Occasionally, if I know my book has been reviewed somewhere and people are visiting my site because of that, I'll move my "here's my book" image to the top of my sidebar. So that's the beauty of the sidebar, it's very flexible, you can move things around very quickly and easily. The fourth very important design region on your site is your content area. Remember, more than anything, you want people to read your words and you want to make the reading experience as pleasurable as possible. So here are some important considerations when it comes to your content area. Fonts. Conventional wisdom says it's easier to read sans serif fonts like Arial and Helvetica on a screen than it is to read serif fonts like Times New Roman. This certainly applied back in the day where the font size on all websites was size 12. Nowadays, as long as you're not expecting people to read 800 words in some weirdo script font, and as long as you're using a fairly neutral font, then font size is more important than your actual font. Size 14 is a minimum for body text these days. Size 16 is even better. The other thing you have to think about is the spacing, not just between the lines, but between the paragraphs. It's really fatiguing for the eye to read text on the screen, so increasing the spacing between the lines of text helps a lot. Here's an example of text that's way too close together. It's okay, it's in Andrea's sidebar, not in her content area. That's why it works. Here's an example of text that's perfectly sized for reading online. It's from the Copyblogger site. In fact, whenever I'm unsure with what font size and spacing I should use, I start with, what would Copyblogger do? These guys are 100% reader focused and know their stuff, so I take my lead from them and adjust sizings to match my overall site design. Colours are also very important in your content area. Please, for the love of all that's holy, stay away from yellow and other light colours. Everyone's screens display colour differently, so while a yellow or orange font might be quite visible on your screen, it's highly likely it'll be illegible on other people's screens. In fact, I'm giving myself a slap on the wrist at the moment because here's the green colour of my link text currently. It's visible on my laptop screen, but I have to admit I'm having to squint a little to see it. By the time you're listening to this, it will have changed to a more appropriate colour, most likely the blue I've used in my headings. The final design element you have to be aware of when it comes to your content area is imagery. It doesn't matter how beautiful your site design is. If the images you have in your post are low quality, fuzzy, pixelated, or simply not very good, it will bring the tone of your entire site down. You are better off having no imagery than crappy imagery. There are now many places you can get beautiful imagery for free, and you can see the notes for this video for links. You can also create beautiful images yourself using Canva, PinkMonkey, and the app WordSwag. In short, there is no excuse for horrible imagery in your posts. If you want to see examples of consistently beautiful imagery in action, check out Fat Mum Slim's site or Kat from the Organised Housewife site. The added bonus of beautiful imagery is that it's very pinnable, and many bloggers are saying that Pinterest drives more traffic their way these days than either Twitter or Facebook. The fifth really important thing when it comes to your site design is a kind of abstract topic, but it's also one of the most important, and that is white space. Contrary to popular belief, white space doesn't mean heaps of white space, although sometimes it can. It actually means giving the elements on your site room to breathe. So here's what I see of Fat Mum's slide above the fold when I visit. Note how every element, especially the logo, has room to breathe. Now, I would never usually advocate for the super busy background Chantal has going on there, but in this case it works, purely because of the great use of white space everywhere else. The major thing white space does is allow the eye to roam without getting overwhelmed, without the brain thinking, oh my god, I don't know where to click it, so I'm just going to leave the site. If you want to see an example of not quite enough white space, ironically you need only scroll down. Now this isn't Chantel's fault, this is a problem with this particular theme. I've used it for a few website designs myself. It's the fact that the featured images in the secondary post on the homepage are so jammed up on each other. Everything else is perfect, the font size and the spacing, but the images being so close together, in combination with the busy background and the images in the sidebar, make for a visual assault, and the eye and the brain just don't like it. So remember, if you have logos or the images in your sidebar, make sure there is a nice amount of space between them. Make sure there is a nice amount of padding between your main content area and the sidebar, and again between the main content area and the background. How will you know you've got it right? You'll be able to look at your site design without getting agitated. Your eye will be able to scan the pages of your site without getting overwhelmed. And that's it from me. If you have any questions, I look forward to answering them at the live chat event on October 29. Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this segment of the Voices of 2014 e-learning blogger masterclass. A massive thank you must go to the Voices of 2014 sponsor, Ford, for making today's segment possible. Plus, don't forget to download your fact sheet under the video on this page. We'll see you next week.